Now then, how the devil are you? Well, excellent. Me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to the Social Media Podcast. I'm Sam Scholes, founder and creative director of Perception Studios, the award-winning visual marketing agency based in the UK, and we help brands and businesses create content that really helps them stand out. And today on the Social Media Podcast, we're celebrating Don't Cry Over Spilt Milk Day.
The Social Media Podcast with Simon Scholes. Tips, hints, and great content ideas.
So then, it's a common saying, don't cry over spilt milk. What does it mean? It means if you make mistakes, don't cry over them. Don't get upset over them. These things happen. And in business, oh boy, do so many of us make mistakes or do things wrong. But that's the great thing about social media as well. If you make a mistake, nobody is dead. So many people actually try to aim for perfection every single piece of content that they're putting out, whether it be a video, a podcast, a visual, a piece of written content. You try and aim for perfection and you never achieve it, and that way you never ever put out your content. And that's really not a good place to be, because if you're not putting out content, your competitors most likely are, because they're not aiming for perfection. Because the fact of the matter is, perfection really isn't all that important. It's the value that you're giving within your content. It doesn't have to read the most perfect way. It doesn't have to look the most perfect way. It doesn't have to be a video that's shot in the most perfect way. It doesn't have to be a podcast that's recorded in the most perfect way. This is a prime example. I'm recording this as I drive my car using voice notes so that I can drive safely but still get some content out to you guys. So you need to think about this seriously. Do you want to cry over spilt milk and put out perfect content and not be happy that it's out? Or do you just want to put out imperfect content that gives amazing value to your audience? They get something from it, they start following, they become a raving fan and potentially even a customer in the future. But if you don't put any content out, nobody can hear what it is that you've got to say. So start thinking about this. Stop aiming for perfection and start putting out imperfect content. Stop crying over that spilt milk. Stop worrying what other people might actually potentially think about your imperfect content. Because it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. Some of the most dodgy content on the planet has gone viral. So just imagine what your piece of content could potentially do if you actually put it out there. It could go viral within your industry. It could create you hundreds, if not thousands, of new potential raving fans who then, like I say, could become potential raving fans who are customers going to spend money with you. Imagine that. But they ain't going to do it if you're not putting out any content whatsoever. So stop aiming for perfection. Stop crying over that spilt milk if you do make mistakes, because on social media, let's face it, it is just social media. If you make a mistake, it's not brain surgery, it's not rocket science, nobody's dead, you've not made any mistakes that can't be corrected, you just delete and crack on again. Obviously, there are some mistakes that can be bigger than others, but generally, if you make a mistake, who cares? Nobody does. Really, nobody cares. Especially if the content that you're putting out there has got value. Just because you spelt the word value wrong without an E on the end doesn't mean they're not still going to get value from the content. Okay, it's a short one, but that's the way the Social Media Podcast is going to go from now on. So thank you ever so much for listening. Hope you got some value out of this. If you're brand new, as always, please do subscribe. Give value every single day from now on. I'm going to be giving value for the rest of the year. Every single day you're going to get a podcast with some value connected to it, to social media, or maybe the odd interview or two. Yeah, awesome, eh? So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. And if you're already subscribed, why haven't you told all your friends and family all about the Social Media Podcast? Yeah, get them to subscribe as well. Make sure they're getting some of the value. Anyway, right, thanks for listening as always, and until next time, have a good one.
This was a Perception Studios production.